Hello, Cancer. This is your reading for April the 4th to the 10th. It's a general reading. I suggest you check your sun, moon, and rising signs as well. I'm fortunate. I'm Libra, 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 so I only have to go to one, and then it's all done for me. I'm going to do it with the True Black deck as per last week, but I didn't do any clarifiers that time, so I'm going to do some clarifiers with the Art Nouveau deck on top. These have already been shuffled. The decks were cleaned down after the last reading, so I'm going to jump straight in. Like I say, bear in mind this is a general reading, so just take what resonates and let's have some fun with it. In your position, you've got the Two of Pentacles. That's a balancing act. Crossing that, you've got the Two of Swords, which is kind of a stagnation. I call it the Crossroads card. Recent past, the Seven of Swords, Cloak and Dagger. That's not been very nice. That's a great card for the near future. Ten of Pentacles. Really nice to see that after all that. Destiny in this deck. Wheel of Fortune in every other deck. And the what's that one? The Nine. Nine of Wands. Wounded Warrior. And then let's see where that brings you out. So we get down to how you see the situation, which is the burden card, the Ten of Wands. It's really interesting in this reading. Actually, this deck's really nice about that card. Great card, how other people see you. Really great card for that position. Hopes and Fears, Magician. We'd just stop there. Best card in the deck as far as I'm concerned. Every time the Magician comes up, he's come up once so far today. But that's a really good card. My favourite card in any deck. Absolutely tremendous. And then you finish on the Six of Cups, which is a nice gentle card to end on. So we'll get some clarity with the Nouveau deck in a moment. Let's have a look. Energy on the bottom, Queen of Wands, confident, welcoming, ethereal. But yeah, there's a sense of just confidence really. So there's an underlying air of confidence to this read, which I quite like. It doesn't seem to lean particularly towards either romance or career. It's a bit of a mid-ground, this one. Sometimes you can read them and go, that's clearly about someone's job. And other times you go, that's clearly about relationships. This one's kind of sitting astride a kind of middle ground. But let's go through them first. So on the Two of Pentacles, you've got this very agile ferret that's kind of balancing the pentacles. And in a more traditional deck, there's a man kind of juggling these two coins. Doesn't have to be coins, can be financial. But it's talking about you're doing a really good job of balancing whatever it is. If it's a relationship, you're doing a really good job of balancing the time you're spending with your partner and the time you're having to go to work. If it's work, it's balancing, all the needs of work. So there's a good balancing act going on there. The thing that's crossing it is more of a concern. That's the Two of Wands, and in this deck, the Two of Swords, the two swords are actually rubbing against each other, and they're not doing any good. They're just wearing themselves down, and the message that's come in that's important is being ignored and is also being ground down. So I think there's in my kind of feeling, it's you're at a crossroads and you don't know whether to go left or right, so you just stood there. What do we do? Just pick one. Just go left or right, And if you go left and it's wrong, come back and then go right. And if it was right, keep going or go. Well, this looks pretty good. Maybe the other way was better. Go back and try that as well. There's no downside to coming back again. So yeah, I would move on basically. The recent past is the Seven of Swords. That's the Cloak and Dagger card. It's not a nice card. It's deceit, underhand behaviour. What it does tell us on this deck though is the biggest sword of all is aimed at the rat. So, I would be very careful of being the rat. I mean, Cancer, you're lovely people. You're not going to be the rat. It's going to be somebody else. But if you're in a situation like that, this is near past. So that's going away. So there has been that situation. What's the root of what's kind of the root of the matter that ties in with this is they call it destiny in this particular deck. It's normally the Wheel of Fortune, and the Wheel of Fortune talks about, the train is in the station, just jump on it, and you get to the station, there's 3 trains, and you go, I don't know which one to get on. What do we do? What do we do? Just get on one of the trains. So what if you end up going to a different destination? Maybe that's where you're supposed to be. The universe provides, after all. So in this case, it's a bit more hard nosed. These are the strands of fate that this alien being is stringing together, and he's lording it over our world. And he's got the prisms in one hand, one pointing up, one pointing down. So as above, so below, yin and yang, good and bad, good and evil. Because tarot is all about balance. So this is talking about something coming out of left field, something you didn't expect. An unknown fate has kind of pinged in. So that's these 2 cards here. In your near future, you got the fabulous family card. In a more traditional deck, this has got the patriarch surrounded by his family, various generations. There's dogs. He's in a big courtyard. There's money everywhere. The garden's growing well. It's generational wealth, generational stability. So that's a really good card to get in your near future. So that is, in a relationship, it's great. In work, it's rock solid. It's like everyone knowing you've been doing a good job forever. Really solid. The head of the matter, this is again what's kind of coming to the fore, is there is some sort of battle. He's a world weary warrior in a different deck, but this one, the wolf's has got some blood on him, and he's cornered, and it's the 8 of Wands, 9 of Wands. Sorry, it's on the 8. The 9 of Wands. So he's cornered. But to be honest, the worst time to kind of take on someone like that is when they're cornered like this. They just come out fighting, and it's a card of strength. It's a card of, I'm down but I'm not out, and I'm just going to keep going, which is really good. So that kind of goes from there to here, and this lovely diagonal is, okay, you might be beaten, and you're down, but you're not out. Everyone recognizes this. This is generational. It's great. And then this is the burden card. So this beetle is carrying, these 10 sticks, and there's another beetle kind of getting a free ride. So if this was work, it's you're doing all the work and someone else is getting all the kudos. If it's a relationship, you feel like you're doing all the work and your partner's sat there with the feet up, taking it easy. What it does say as well, though, is this is a Hercules beetle that can carry 100 times its own weight. So although it's a burden, it's nothing you can't handle. So you maybe you still have to carry that burden for a week or 2 more, or maybe you put it down and go, enough's enough. In a more traditional deck, he's carrying the burden, but you can see his destination in the card, so it's very, very close. So whatever burden this is, it's almost over. Which leads into this fantastic card. This is how other people see this situation, and that's the Ace of Pentacles. Aces are always a new start. This is a really solid. This is about honesty and material effort. You put the time and effort in. I mean, the foundation of this card is a mountain, for crying out loud. It couldn't get more robust than that. So it's in a really solid, great place. You've got a hammer and an axe, really honest tools for making something. I could be making a relationship and not just making a cake. And then you've got all the fruits of your labours hanging from these vines. A common theme in the Pentacles in this deck is all this stuff kind of hanging down. So it's a really fantastic card to get in this position. And then that just goes into your hopes and fears. I mean, I don't know what's going on this month, Cancer, but you're just going to knock it out of the park. Best card in the deck as far as I'm concerned. Hands pointing up and down, as above, so below. It's hard to see on this card, but he's got the cups, the sword, the wands, and the pentacles. He's got all the tools at his disposal. He's glowing with an inner strength. He's got the infinity symbol above his head. It's like, I can do this all day. If you were going to play sports, you're going to end up playing for the Raiders, or other teams are available. Let's not get into that conversation, shall we? But basically, it means you have all the tools at your disposal. If you want to be a fireman, if you want to go into space, if you want to be the best singer in the world, you have all the talents at your disposal. That's your hopes and fears. And then the outcome is, after this kind of powerful move through here, you end up at the nostalgia card. And these are, Americans call them candies, we call them sweets. But basically, what this card's saying is, while it's lovely to think about the past and how fantastic it was, and looking at life through rose-colored spectacles, sweets, they're not a meal. They're a little treat, but they end quickly. So by all means, look to the past with fondness, but remember that there's a job to do here. So that's an interesting read. Like I say, it's not heavy relationship, it's not heavy work. It's really good. I mean, it's a fantastic reading. Particularly those three cards. I mean, one, two, three, and then three, four. This one up here. That's a really good movement. So let's see what's happening here. Got the Emperor in your position. Great, great card to get. Masculine energy. It's he's armored. He's ready to go. Aries energy. He is. Um, he's like the big daddy. Basically, he's the rock star. He's been there, done it all. Unflappable, great, just really solid energy to get. Crossing that, you've got the Ace of Swords. That is kind of a moment of clarity. It's very intelligent kind of air. So you've got two aces here. So you've got two new starts. This one is the physical doing something about it, and this one is the thinking about what needs to be done. Really powerful set of aces there. That's fantastic. It's really good reading, Cancer. Okay, you got the Five of Swords again on top of the Seven. So again, it's not quite as deceitful as the other one. This is victory. So this guy has defeated those other two, but he's left their swords on the ground. So it's a card of risk taking as well. It's like, I wouldn't have done that if I was you. I'd have taken all the swords off the battlefield. If they turn around and decide to attack you, you're in big trouble. And there's that air as well, isn't there, of slight smugness. It's not a nice look, that. It's really not. I always think whenever you're in conflict with someone, even if you win, no one really feels good about themselves. It's not a great way to be. So just watch that energy there. I don't see it being a big deal, and it's going out of the situation. So if it is in this month, it'll be gone by Friday. And then in near future, on top of this generational stability and wealth, you have the Lovers. This could be a journey, and one of the things about the Lovers card is, you know, bringing, seeing the positive in both and seeing what they bring to the party, if you like. If you're going on a journey like that up this mountain that's going to take forever, you need someone with you to support you. Some days it's going to be really tough to put one foot in front of the other. Wouldn't it be great to have someone one footstep ahead going, come on, we're nearly there, we're nearly there. And tomorrow they feel that way and you're the one that eggs them on. So it's about, and sometimes it's about a trial. I'm not seeing that at all. I think this is more about um, either utilizing other people or utilize that other part of yourself. Sometimes you need to give yourself a bit of a shake. And go, come on, snap out of this. Let's get on with it. So yeah, the Lovers in that one. This sort of fate that happened wasn't a big cathartic thing. It was like, yeah, whatever. I love this card. I mean, if you look at the guy's expression on there, he could not be more disinterested in the Three Cups and even the cup of the imagination or the subconscious that's been given to. It's a real, what's the point? I call it the meh card. Um, but again, that's going away from the situation. So that's what's happened in the past, and it doesn't really impact too much on this. Chariot on top of the Wolf, so you've got all the energy in the world, and the result of that is a victory. He's got the stars above him, so it's as above, so below. And he's coming out. It's not quite as clear on this card, but he's normally coming out of a city. A city is either conquered or his city, but he's definitely triumphant victory. Is about control and victory, and those two sphinxes there, just aligning them to their purpose. I always think if he said giddy up, one would go left and one would go right. So you need someone to kind of steer the chariot. That's you. You're doing that, and you're doing it very successfully. On top of the burden card, we have, okay, sorrow. Again, this reminds us that, if you look at these two, they're really suffering, but there's a church behind them. They can go around the corner, and whoever's in the church opens the door, gives them food and clothes and shoes and somewhere to sleep for the night and sends them on the way. So it does warn us that sometimes you can't even see the good. You're too busy feeling sorry for yourself. Again, given the strength of this reading of these two aces, I think that's more of a whisper in the background than a big heavy card, particularly when it's sat on top of, the burden card there. So I'd say stop feeling sorry for yourself. You've got two aces, you've got the Emperor, you're in a great place, you've got the Magician. Interested to see what the outcome is. Okay, Temperance, that's the balance between conscious and subconscious, just finding the balance basically. So after the fool has met the devil and all the impermanent temptations of the devil, there's Temperance, which is the exact opposite of that, where she's going, yeah, it's fine to have a glass of wine, just don't have 4 bottles. Whereas the devil's going, have another bottle, have another bottle. So that's a really nice card to sit on top of this one. So that's, really good situation. Cancer, you're in for a great month. Okay, then you've got the 6. What's good about this card, I think, is um, the waters on this side are really choppy, and on the other side they're nice and smooth, and they're off to another land. But it is reminding us that whatever we do, we take our burdens with us. So the 6 of Swords are still in the boat. So it's a card of destination and moving on. And again, there's just this little whisper here and here, and you've got 2 aces and the Magician, which should be enough to quell that. So anytime you're having a down day or a down moment, just remember Magician, Ace, Ace, Temperance. Yeah, remember the good cards in this, not this one and this one. Then finally the outcome. What's going on here? You're doing yourself a disservice here. On the bottom of the deck, we've got the Queen of Swords. She's above the storm cloud. She's very stoic. She's been hurt and knows she's going to get hurt again, but she's kind of prepared to ride it out. I love the expression on this one, and that sword. It's like, well, take me on if you dare, But she's above the clouds. I mean, there's even clouds on her clothing there. And the idea is the storm clouds are going away, and she can really see the direction she needs to take. One thing it does say about her as well is. She has few friends and few loves, but the one she has, she loves fiercely, I mean, with a real passion. So that's a really powerful card. So that's the energy kind of underneath that goes on top of the Queen of Wands. So you've got this sort of beautiful, empathetic confidence, and then you've got this real kind of stoic energy of, been there, done that, but, fierce. And then on top of the nostalgia card and this sort of be careful you don't keep looking back on the past, you need to look forward. You have the 5 of Cups, and this is the classic, spilled milk card. He's too busy looking at what's been spilled. There's different coloured liquids coming out. He's not even looking at the 2 cups behind him. And again, it's got a little bit of the self-pity thing down here. It's like, oh, woe is me. It's like, no, you've still got 2 cups behind you, mate. And he's a bit sort of, how am I going to get over that river? It's like, well, there's a bridge just next to it. I can't even see the city I'm supposed to get to. It's right there. It's over the bridge. So it's really, uh, I find at the end of this reading, I'm a bit like, really, Cancer? You're better than this. Take the 2 cups, take the bridge, go to the city. That's your destination. So it's a really good positive read with just a couple of little niggles there. And then what's that? The 2 of Swords as well. So let's take the Emperor, let's take the 2 aces, let's take Temperance, let's take the Magician, yeah, and really drive it forward this month. So I don't think there's any kind of there's no kind of tower things going on there. Something has happened in the past that's maybe knocked the wind out of you a little bit, but that was, the past is gone. We can't do anything about that now. You're steering a victory. Yeah, I'd bring other people in as needed. You've got all the strength you need to do it. The Hercules beetle, remember, 100 times its own body weight. So this is easy. This burden here, it's easy. And then you end up in a great place with the Ace and Temperance and the Magician. Yeah. And then just don't. I'd end the month on this. I'd end the month on the Magician rather than. It's great to look backwards, but it doesn't serve us really. It just gives us the experience to be better people tomorrow. Anyway, I'm going to leave it to that. Cancer, have a great week, I will see you on Sunday for another one. You take care.